Hi, it's Stacy with Westalee.
And Mendy.
And look what Mendy's been up to. We have the amazing Mystery Sampler Quilt here. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so I've been working for the last few days getting all the blocks trimmed, and I've got 11 rows, 13 blocks long, and this is 6 of the 11 rows that have been sashed vertically. And that's what we're going to show you how to do today. We're going to be using the SashLee template. So we're going to be using the sewing machine that I quilt on. And we'll be doing that with the ruler foot and the SashLee template.
So since we have the amazing blocks right here, tell us a little bit about your process. Like, what is the order that these are in?
Yes. Typically, what I would do whenever I would have a patchwork situation is I would be getting it organized so that there was a visual pattern with color. But because this is the Mystery Sampler Quilt, and this will go on to university, and people are going to want to know what the individual blocks look like that they're going to be, sewing. I've done it so that this is block 1 through 11, and then 12 through whatever. So it's
11 columns.
It's 11 columns wide, 13. And if I had not done some extra blocks along the way, this would have probably only been 10 blocks long. But I did do a bunch of extras, some of them originals. Some of you saw the originals that I did on Facebook Live. But since I had them already done, I just included them in the quilt itself.
Excellent. And so as we were talking through your process, you said you laid out every single block in order.
Yeah. Well, let me show you how I get organized. This will probably help people understand the process a little bit too.
She's got her cubby bins over here.
So throughout the process, I was taking, these are the bins that have everything. Let's go over here, honey, so I can put this down. These are the binders that have all of the instructions. So I have the instructions along with the one sample that I did that could be made into a regular patchwork quilt without the quilting. And then along the way, I started doing the quilting plan too. So I have this all documented. So when I after I trimmed down all my blocks, and I was gonna, Stacy's got me a little bit off key here because I had a plan, but we'll go with her plan. When you were putting together this, the finished size is supposed to be 6. So this is actually a 6.5-inch block. But because I quilted all these, that meant then that I needed to go in and do some trimming. Because when you quilt, depending upon how quilted it is, there will be some shrinkage in each block. So in order to make the blocks uniform, I went through and sized them down to 6 inches. So if you were not quilting them like I did, then you would have this block, which is 6.5 inches. And you may need, in some cases, especially it seemed like with the pinwheel, there needed to be some cleanup along the edges. But bottom line is you'd probably still end up with a 6.25 inch block. But then with that, I laid every single one out sorry, my dog wants in. I laid every single block out in numerical order. And the way that we read is left to right. So that's the way that I laid it all out.
So she's got her rows, and every row starts as a stack. And then she just goes through and creates each one. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, show us the process. What camera do you want to start on?
All right. Well, why don't we start here? For the sashing, I am using 1 1/4 inch sashing. And that really means that it's a lot smaller than that. But let's go ahead and get it going here. And I did choose 2 different fabrics for the sashing. So I have a different fabric on the back than I have on the front. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this over here. This is obviously the front, and this is the sashing on the back. So I've already got these cut, but Stacy felt like I needed to show you how to cut. Although I think all of you have seen this plenty of times. So here we go. Got my ruler. And it's set at 1 1/4 inches. So I've taken that. Here we go. So there's my sash. That's my raw sash. Then what I do, now we need to go to this ironing board here. Then what I do is I take the savage edges off. Let's start there. Okay. And I go ahead and fold it in half and crease. I want the crease. Why don't you go take your Lulu? Okay.
You're fine.
So all I'm doing is ironing this in half. And the reason for that is that I want that mark so that then I can go ahead and fold it into the middle on both of the raw edge sides. So let me get this one done, and then I'll show you the next step here. And the other fun thing that we're going to do is when there's no pinning, we use glue. So this is the glue that we're going to be using to keep everything in place while we're going through this process. Okay, so let me get, for each row, I need 2 of the dark and 2 of the orange sashings. Okay, so we have 4 here that we need to get prepared for the next row. So what we're going to do is take this, and there's my crease. So I'm just going to fold it over here to get started. And we're just going to follow it all the way down. Move it up. All right. All right. Turn it around. And we're going to fold it into itself. Put water in this iron right before, so there's lots of steam coming out of it here. All right. This is some of the tiniest sashing I've done so far, but I really like how it looks, and it's appropriate for a 6-inch block. You can't have big chunky sashing with that. Fogging up my glasses.
What I'm excited about is you're using one amazing tool today.
Correct.
And you're using your ruler foot to do it.
Correct. Yeah,
So-
that's kind of the beauty of this. The only thing whenever I'm finishing a quilt, I don't use the ruler foot to put the binding on the outside. I just use my regular walking foot on my sewing machine.
Did you say the sashing is a 1¼ inches?
1¼ inches. That's the raw. And then it gets down to this size. Now I need to do 3 more of these, so bear with me here. And I've already got them, ironed here, so it's just getting the inside.
So it looks like it ends up being maybe 5/8 overall.
I'm not math based. So whatever is, I think
Just
half.
over a 1/2 inch. After the 2 folds.
Yeah. That would make sense. Okay. Get it up here again.
And so what is the fold size? Is it just kind of?
I folded it in the middle, so now I'm taking the raw edge to the middle.
Oh, neat. Okay.
I have the crease in there.
So middle to middle.
Uh-huh. Burn myself. Note to self, don't put water in right before you're on camera. Okay, so let's do this now. And I usually like to do this with music or my book on tape or something, because this is kind of mindless work.
Do you want me to sing to you?
Sure.
I can't for everyone else.
Oh. Be more entertaining than hearing the iron.
You could try to play some music.
The dog in here.
Regina was suggesting you should use your little iron for this part.
I don't have a little one.
For a little while, we did have that really small one.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Really portable, though.
Yeah. You could go on an airplane with it. They wouldn't know what it was, but yeah. Okay. So now we're halfway there. And I like to do this final press because I find that it holds the press more whenever I do it that way. Okay, here's the third one.
I would sing for everyone, but to be really honest, that's not been a virtue that was less on me.
We should get Jerry in here.
Yeah.
Oh, tell him about my birthday or my Christmas present that arrived today.
Oh. A little late, but my mom decided she had to have a shuffleboard. So we got her a shuffleboard for Christmas.
A stand-up one, not a floor.
Outdoor floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks to my dad's best wishes, he's putting together a shuffleboard right now.
For those of you that do know me, you know that I'm a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be any game. I don't really care.
He's going to go in between backgammon and shuffleboard now in the evenings.
Or pinochle, or
Yeah.
hearts, or dominoes.
She keeps us all very entertained.
That's what I do when I'm not sewing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Almost done with this one. Okay, last one.
So tell me about the variety of colors you're using.
As in,
Well, that sashing is a different color than the.
that's the back. This is for the back. I started out with a black fabric that I had here that I purchased for the quilt. And then I ended up cutting it into the backing, assuming I could get more. Well, I couldn't. So about 30 blocks in, I had to change the backing of the blocks. And so I didn't want to go with just black because it would have just kind of highlighted that was not the same. So this kind of complements.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the back.
What goes on. I also have an Amish moment with my quilt here. And what do they say about Amish quilts?
I'm not sure.
There's always something kind of hidden or different that is in there that whoever did it knows. Mm-hmm. Mine, everybody's going to be able to see, but you can't see it right away.
Oh.
Remember that time that I quilted the block with the extra block on the back? Yeah. It's in here.
Oh, fun. I'll have to remember which one that was.
Oh, you don't have to remember. It's real obvious. But as I was putting it together, I thought, no, that was part of the process. I want to just keep that in there.
So will there be one random block on the back?
It's the back of the back. Yeah. It's the back of the block that I did. So it's not even the pretty part.
Oh, okay.
All right, folks, we are now ready to start the fun part. So I'm going to be working on block or row number 7. And I've got these in order, so I'm going to maintain that integrity here. And I don't need my scissors right now. So we're going to lay them out in the order that they're in. And I'm going to butt them up against each other, okay?
So we can't see that on the camera.
All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, I
need the whole board for this. You may have to be a manual cameraman today. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try to do 6 right now. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use the first 6. I'm going to clean off the tip of the glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each one of these intersections where the blocks. Okay, I don't care.
I've got the camera pointed down there.
Okay. Can they see this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go by each one of the intersections, and I'm just putting dots of the glue right along the edges.
No, actually, they can't see it. I lied. There we go. They can see that though.
Okay. There we go. Sounds like Jerry's made friends. Okay. Want to make sure that those are butted up against each other pretty snugly. Kind of like when we were doing the piecing and we were snuggling up to the intersection of the seams. Same idea. And this is your chance to make sure that they're in proper alignment, because when I glue this, that's kind of the final opportunity to get it. Should they be going this way now, Stace?
Yeah, let's go ahead and flip it. Whee! Go.
Okay, and I'm gonna put this. Can you hold this?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. All right, I'm gonna take that right there. I'm going really close to the seam, edge of the seam, because my, excuse me. All right, why don't we just put that down on the floor maybe. All right, so now I'm going to take this sashing. I don't think they can see a thing.
No. Yeah, I can see that block.
So what we're going to do is take the sashing and I'm going to cut it oversized, and I can get 6 out of each one. So I'm going to cut them together, and right now I'm going to cut this off anyway because I'm oversizing them. You don't want to undersize your sash, that's for sure. Okay, there we go.
Let me make sure there's no questions. Why the glue?
The glue is instead of pinning. So there's literally no pinning in this process.
We're not pinning today, ladies.
Okay, so here we go. What I'm trying to do is make sure that this little, I have a faint imprint of that center seam, and I'm trying to make sure that when I place it, I'm placing it right in the middle. Okay. I'm going to go and put this down.
And where did you get that glue? Is that Roxanne?
This is, yeah, it's Roxanne. Leonie West shows this in a lot of her videos when she's using her SashLee videos.
And it comes with that tip?
Yes. Okay, can they still see, Stace?
Yeah.
Have any of you done it this way before?
Someone suggested that glue doesn't bite you like pens do.
No, it doesn't. And I won't get in trouble for sewing over them either. Okay, so there, I like the placement of all of these. So now I'm going to take my iron and set the glue.
Okay. So come on down. And so you're only spending maybe a second or two.
Yeah. I'm just setting the glue.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to let it cool a minute or so before I try to flip it so that it'll stay all together.
Have you had an incident where they didn't?
Oh, when I tried to do it too soon. Okay, there we go.
Pretty good.
All right, so now there's a situation where my fabric was over the backing. I haven't seen that until now. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and take the dark brown, and we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to cut our samples. Where's my scissors? Right here. Okay, so I'm going to just do a little oversized. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the back.
All right, so same process?
So same exact process.
How many bottles of glue do you think you're going to go through?
Actually, I've done like 2 quilts with this.
Wow. And again, this is the quilt as you go method because Mendy went through and actually quilted every block. So she added the backing and the batting as she went. We are doing the sashing technique on this one. The blocks that we haven't quilted already, we're going to go ahead and piece together first and then do an all over quilt. I do love that we're going to see so much variety on the quilting on this one too.
Yeah, everything's different every single time. So what I'm trying to do is line this up with the one that I have at the top and at the bottom. So that's how I know that when I sew, I'm going to be getting both. Once again, this is a really tiny sash. I know it doesn't look that tiny, but for what we're trying to hold together here, there's not a lot of margin of error when you're doing your SashLee process. Okay, so here we go with this one. And here we go with it down here. So let's just get that right up there. Okay. And then this one too.
And just saw your Amish moment.
Thank you. I thought I'd confess before.
I kind of love it. It's unique.
It is. And it reminds me of, the process. Got to enjoy the process. We had some good laughs.
We sure did. I hope everyone else did too.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to set this side. It's also your opportunity to take a look both on the front and the back. And if you see any stray, threads or anything that you want to take care of before you go into this next step, it's a good opportunity to do it then.
So the next step is sewing, right?
Yep.
And this is when we're pulling out the SashLee template.
That is correct. Okay, so we're going to give this a minute to set, and then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine. All right. Well, let's go.
Okay, let me flip cameras here. So that is the rocks and glue.
All right, so this is the SashLee template. And this is, it used to be called Lineworks SashLee Quilt. So there was another template prior to this that was called Lineworks. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting this up here. I'm going to start at the top. And I'm putting this first etch line right there on the edge of my sash. Now, I did a quilt class in the bag, and I was able to sash stitch right against the solid edge. But this is just too small on the back side. And when I tried to do that, there were times when I was missing the back. And so it doesn't matter. I'm good with it this way. Okay, so I've got that right on the edge of the sash. And now all I'm going to do, get my chair where I want it to be. Okay, all I'm going to do is just, I'm pressing against the left-hand side so I consistently keep straight. And as you can see, that's what the tool is meant to do, is keep me straight. Okay, now when I come down here, I'm going to turn the tool sideways. I'm just going to tap my sewing machine, go over to here. Now I'm going to put this back on. Oops. Sorry.
And show us how you're aligning it.
Okay, well, it's going to be hard to see from here because I'm in the back of it. But I have this first etch mark before the hole right along the edge of the sashing. And now I'm just going to go in the other direction.
So the goal is to have a really, really thin seam line on the sash.
Well, no, this isn't terribly thin. On my other quilt, I was able to do it super thin, but on this one, I'm safer if I just use the edge of the sashing. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut my threads and come over, and I'm just going to repeat. So, except I'm going to turn it around so that this is what I'm talking about. This etch mark right here on my sashing. Okay, needle down, get it straight. Okay, turn it this way, go sideways.
You're using the larger SashLee ruler on this one, right?
I am. That is correct.
So SashLee large is technically, I think, a 6-inch ruler.
Yeah, I've done it with the other one, but there's a lot of stopping and moving it forward. This one is just equally as efficient and less time moving the ruler. I didn't even know we had the bigger one until after I'd already done my big quilt class in the bag, my king size quilt. Okay, here we go. We're gonna just repeat. Same song, second verse. Match that up.
pressing against the right side. Have any of them ever done it this way, Stace?
You know, I did not see any responses to that. Someone asked a question that I'm not sure how to respond to. The question was, is there any way to sash using the SashLee ruler?
That's what we're doing. Is she asking about cutting?
Maybe. Some folks said that they love sashing. So I'm guessing they use this.
Let's get it straight on the.
What stitch length are you using?
I'm the stitch regulator.
So you're using the Westalee Design ruler foot so you don't have your feed dogs up to have
Correct.
stitch length.
The feed dogs are down. So this is the same position that the machine would be if I were doing ruler work.
Well, so we're not binding right now. We're just sashing the two blocks together. So any kind of binding tool, that sort of thing, that's a different process, and we'll show that probably in another class because we're probably not going to obviously get through the other 5 rows that you need to do today and binding the or sashing the lengths.
Right. Okay. So now we're going to go back over to the ironing board. Because this is only 6 of the 13. So I'm going to, at this point, trim the edges where I have the excess of the
There we go.
Okay, so now we're ready to add the next 5 to this, or whatever, however many that is. There's 13, I guess. So, okay.
Oh, you did 8 on the first round?
No, did 6. So, yeah, thank you for the math. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat the same process. We're going to butt these up.
I just love seeing these blocks all finished and cleaned up and quilted. Give us a thumbs up if you were equally excited to see it all pretty and getting put together.
Okay, so this will be the final one on this. So we're going to just, once again, repeat the same process. So I'm going to go through and put my little dots here.
And today we're just going to show one row of sashing just to give you an idea of how she's going to go through this process, since everything else is going to be just repeat, repeat, repeat.
Exactly.
I really love that design. That was the snowflakes.
Snowflakes, yeah.
So much variety here for the quilting designs and the patchwork. There was a question about how you decided the width of the sashing.
You know, I played with it actually. I knew that I didn't want to do a real wide one, but I had to have it wide enough that I could work with it. And so I tried 1.5 inches. I tried 1.25 inches, and I tried 1 inch. And although I really loved the look of the 1 inch, it was too hard to do the ironing. The parts were
they
too,
got so small.
they were too little, yeah, for me anyway.
So you ended at 1.25 inches then.
That's correct. Oops, that's the wrong color.
Close call. That could have been another moment.
Yeah, I had another Amish moment.
There was a question if there's batting in the sashing. And the answer is no, because we're butting the blocks right next to each other. The batting is covered. It's within the blocks.
So
themselves.
the batting does, or the sashing does have batting because it's
going over the blocks.
over the two. Okay, so we're ready to set. You guys may not be able to tell from the colors that I picked, but I love orange.
I think we can tell.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, I'm going to give it a moment to set.
How many blocks did you put white in?
Not very many.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple more that have white that are farther down in the quilt. But
Someone was saying when they do it this way, they struggle a little bit with keeping the back looking good on the glue method.
On the glue method,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the stitching.
Yeah, let me see what it said when I do it this way, often the backside does not get caught evenly. How does yours look?
I'll show you that. In fact, here's one where I was going to say that at the end of each time, I do quality control. And here's one where the tag that I left got folded over. So we're going to have to go in and fix that. But you do want to do quality control after each row, because there are times when I don't catch completely on the backside, but I'd rather not catch it on the backside than on the front side. So in those cases, I will go back through and restitch. And because the thread that I've used is really invisible with the fabric, I don't have to pick it out.
Can I show everybody your Amish moment?
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna love it. I just can't wait to show off the back side when you finish.
I was going to do Templey on that.
So much quilting. So much variety. Yeah, I think you added a huge bonus to this project with all of the quilting designs you created and used.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to go back through and see the variety. You know, sometimes when you do it week to week, it's hard to get inspired. But when I went back through, especially after I started cataloging what the quilting plan was, it was kind of fun to see the variety that was used. And I have my favorites. There's ones that I've only used once that were not my favorites, and then ones that I used several times. But I think that's normal. I think everybody has their likes and their dislikes. Okay, now we're ready to set this. Okay, give it a second, and we'll take it over to the sewing machine.
All right.
Okay, so, oops, sorry. Here we go. Just sec, my fabric unraveled, and I don't want to put any pressure on the seams that have not been sewn yet. So
Let me see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. Well, that was a fun noise.
that didn't sound good, does it? Well, I'm almost to the end here. Come on. All right, there. Okay, so let's turn power on, off.
Oh, wow, one of those.
Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to take them over to the quilt and show them the amazing designs we have here. Okay, everyone. So let me get the camera pointed here. So you can see that there are just so many block designs here. And I promised my mom I would show you the Amish moment.
Oh, I ran out of bobble thread.
Oh, there you go.
That'll do it.
So this is the back of this series. And about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, we accidentally attached one of her extra samples to the back side of this. So you can see that right here. You can also see all of the variety and the quilting designs that she used, which I just absolutely love. It's a lot easier to see them on the back than on the front. But this is just such an awesome program for learning patchwork to quilting at the same time. You get a lot of variety in what you can do with rulers.
Okay, I think we're back.
Right,
now.
we're back.
Yeah.
Just had to show them some eye candy there. All right, let's take them over to the machine.
Oh, I turned it off, so now I have to get it set back up here. Okay, there we go.
There was a question if you're going to be using sashing to connect the columns.
Yes. And I'm probably going to end up using the weightless quilter. So that'll be another session that we'll do maybe the next week. Because you can do one or two just fine, but because these are 13 blocks long, that's a lot of weight and a lot of length to have 11 rows.
Jackie says, absolutely love the earthy colors. All of the blocks look amazing together. Well done, Mindy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, when everybody else was going towards gray, I'm going towards the warm tones. Not exactly in vogue, but that's okay.
So yeah, we'll show you the back once she finishes these sections, and we'll kind of scan through and see how even the back is as comparatively to the front. So the weightless quilter is what she was referring to. And the weightless quilter is kind of like a tent pole suspension system.
It's a super small footprint. It's 3 foot by 3 foot. It will fit in anybody's sewing room. And it has flexible rods that you attach, and it just pulls all the weight of the quilt up and off your machine, but yet it lets it sway so that you can get quite a distance without repositioning the quilt. I would highly recommend you go online and look up the video of Weightless Quilter.
I'm actually posting a link to it right now, and the video is on our site.
Once you've used that, you won't go back. The roll method is hard compared to that. At least I wouldn't go back, I should say.
So again, Mindy is using the SashLee Westalee Design ruler to do all the sashing here. And she's using a 6-inch size. There's also a 3-inch SashLee ruler. This is the large one.
There.
And this is called our Mystery Sampler Quilt. It has been a series that we started, I think, back in May.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on our So Steady University. If you purchase the 3 main cutting tools in called our Westalee Design starter set for our patchwork tools, then the access to the class on the university is free. And that's where you'll get all 113 patterns. We're still doing some video editing and hope to have all 113 videos in the near future, but we are loading them as they're edited. Many of them are on Facebook because we did half of them on Facebook, so you can go back to Facebook videos and watch them from there. Yeah, I'll post a link to the starter set again, and that's the Westalee Design starter set for our patchwork tools. And they call it our adjustable locking ruler 3-piece starter set. That is a mouthful. And the university you can access from our So Steady website.
Okay, so now we're done with the sewing. So let's go and trim and then take a look at the back.
All right. Heading to the trimming. So the Roxanne glue, where do you think people can order that?
I ordered it from Checker.
So that's most of your quilt shops will have Roxanne glue because Checker is a supplier to all, quilt shops worldwide. So you should be able to get that from Checker and or from any of your local quilt shops and have no problem. And you can let them know you're looking for that small needle point tip, and they should be able to help you with that.
Okay, so moment of truth. I haven't even looked at this yet, so let's see how it looks
Let's
on the
see
back.
how it looks. I'm gonna pull the camera off so we can get a little bit better view of it.
Okay.
And bear with me, everyone. Okay.
Because this is the dark side, I usually like to run my finger along it to see if I can tell if it didn't connect here. And once again, that's the beauty of having a thread that just blends in, is that here. This was in the first round.
Oh yeah, we caught that a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So can anyone tell what she did here?
Well, it just that I didn't do it.
No.
But
It got folded in.
I do need light. I can't see worth beans here.
Okay.
Okay, so because it's so
Ooh, get a little too close to you.
yeah.
So you're just gonna kind of detach that with your seam ripper.
Because this was the excess that I was supposed to get cut off. So I am going to have to go back and just do the end of this one a little bit.
I think a lot of people were concerned that maybe your blocks wouldn't come together quite even on the backside, but I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it came together quite nicely. And I think a lot of that is exactly what you said at the very beginning, which is if you're butting them right next to each other and you cut them accurately down to 6 inches,
then they come out perfect.
then they should come out perfect.
So other than catching that end right there, everything is caught perfectly on this. So let me go fix this, and then we would be ready to put this on the wall of fame.
All right. And again, this is the wall of fame, everyone. Let's see, I keep switching back and forth. There we go.
Get the things that are loose there out. So I'm going to go this way for right now.
Okay. Here we're going back to the sewing machine, right?
Uh-huh.
There she is.
Here I am. So I'm just going to fix that little bit of that I double dipped on there. So let's go ahead and trim that. Get over here, and now come back and do this. And I match up perfectly. Okay.
And do you know what you would consider the size of the quilt to be at the end?
Yes, my husband, who's math based, did all that for us. It's 66 by 78. But that is with the extra blocks that I did.
Oh, okay. So we're showing the front side again, huh?
Well, I'm trimming
Okay.
here. So I just wanted to get that and cut my extra threads right there and right there. Okay, so now we can put it up as finished on the wall.
Okay.
And once again, my husband did this so that I could keep them organized for the process. And it's kind of nice to be able to visually see how it's coming together. So I'm going to put that there.
Does anybody have a favorite block that they're seeing on the screen right now? I have to admit, these pinwheels look pretty incredible.
Ooh, aim of my existence.
Hmm.
I actually did get to the point where I didn't okay, but I can't say I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's See if I can get this up. Almost not tall enough.
All right. 7 down, ladies. 5 to go. So you just did 1 row with us. So if we call that 1 row an hour, then she'll have 13 hours in getting these rowed up. Or columned up, right?
Yeah. Columned up, rowed up, whatever you want to call it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us all today. And like I said, everyone's absolutely loving the colors that you chose.
Oh, good.
I'm holding this camera, so everything continues to look great. If you want to see if there's any additional questions on the screen, you can. Yeah, but otherwise, you know, I think we're finished up for today. Next week, we can look at taking you through the process of sashing the columns together, and then we'll go ahead and look forward to taking you through the binding process. But because we did the quilt as you go, everything is already quilted. So we're just finishing the quilt at this point. Any questions or things that
Well, I'm not sure where I'd see
you
questions.
look on the right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll look forward to sharing with everyone next week.